So just first start with what we understand about the idea of AGI, or artificial general intelligence. This is effectively AI that is human level or smarter. And OpenAI CEO Sam Altman thinks this could be here next year. Others think it's a lot longer down the road. But the basis of the article you mentioned was a conversation I had with Max Tegmark, who's the president of the Future of Life Institute. Now, this is a think tank that's been very concerned about the rapid progress we've seen in AI with things like ChatGPT. And last year, they put a letter out calling for a pause to the advancement of some of these AI models as well, until guardrails and safety protocols are figured out as well. During that conversation with Max, there was the topic of the US and China tech battle that came up. And he said, well, we keep talking about this race between the US and China to develop AI and to develop AGI. And he called that effectively, quote, a suicide race. Reason being, there's no way to control AGI right now. And his fear is that when you get to a system that is human level or smarter, it then begins to develop things itself outside the control of those who have created it. That's the theory at this point as well. And so he said that the idea of this China-US race is wrong, the wrong kind of framing. And actually, China has no interest to build AGI. And he cited an anecdote that Elon Musk allegedly told him. And he told me that Elon Musk said that he had a meeting with high-level officials in the Chinese government, and Musk warned the Chinese government that if they built AGI, China would no longer be controlled by the leading Communist Party, but by superintelligence.
This is very important because China wants to control their growth. They want to be the number one in AI. And I was arguing with Karen the other day. I think they're doing a pretty good job in terms of what the US tech companies are telling all of us, that they're ahead, the Chinese, in many ways. But they want to control it. For instance, let's have the military controlling it, for instance, and not have it diffuse throughout the population. They can't do that at all, because once this technology is out there, it's out there. And that's a problem for the Chinese and for all of us, according to your
and that's the point. And that's
sources.
The headline saying the China's balancing act is exactly that. Is one, there's this geopolitical tech battle with it and the US, and it wanting to surpass US in areas like AI. But the second point is China is also very keen on control, particularly of many of these new technologies that has the ability to disseminate information that perhaps may be sensitive to Beijing's views.
So to me, it sounds like war games, that the US is concerned that China is heading towards artificial AGI, and the US is now arguing that they should also be heading in that direction too, just in case. So it is that sort of war game story. I think we've seen it play out in many movies before, number one. Number two, if we do create some sort of superintelligence here, AGI, that can act on its own accord, as you say, without controls, keep in mind where we're at. We've got technology at a level that is nowhere near AGI, that has hallucinations, coming up with false outcomes. So what if you have some superintelligence where we still haven't solved the equation of why these hallucinations happen? It acts in a certain way because it thinks there is a threat, potentially wiping out the planet. I mean, this is the Armageddon situation that scientists have been warning about. So when you talk about the guardrails, it's important to have some so we know how to flip the switch, pull out the plug, or some sort of control.
Sandbox. They call them sandbox.
Exactly, exactly.
That's spot on, Karen. That's spot on. And that's really what Max Tegmark was alluding to, the fact that, yes, when you get to that stage, there is exactly that threat, that this AGI is out of control of the purview of humans, and it's doing things that it's not been programmed to do. And because of these hallucinations, because of the information it has, it may make the wrong decision. However, I don't want to leave it all on a bleak note, because there was a really interesting part of that conversation in which Max said that, well, both countries, the US and China, will realize the risks of AGI, regulate themselves in their own countries, not necessarily together, but then realize, hold on, how do we get North Korea? How do we get Russia? How do we get some of these other countries to get on board with AI safety and guardrails? And that could mean the two countries come together to try to push some sort of global collaboration around safety in AGI.
Was that a party